Okay, we've talked about score and we've talked about source. There's kind of a third. There's another thing that can happen, and we give it sometimes some people use the funny term of scorce. Yeah, like scorce, meaning it's kind of score and it's kind of source. It's somewhere in between the two. Or another way to look at it is that it starts off as score and turns into source, or the other way around. It starts off as source and turns into score. You can imagine a case where this would happen, where something like that last scene we saw, where let's say he turns up the music while he's sitting in that chair, and then it cuts to another scene and the music keeps going. Right? That music was source because he's got a stereo and headphones in the room and he's playing it. But then as it cuts to a new scene and that music continues, that music is now score because there's no source of it and the people in the scene probably don't hear it. So this thing scores can be kind of cool. You could be working on a scene where there's a cut like that. It usually surrounds an edit, but not always. You might be working on a scene where you start writing the scene and the director decides to have that music continue on to where it becomes the background music of a scene. So you could score a scene and then imagine you scored a scene with like jazz. And then in the next scene, the characters walk into a jazz club and that music is playing. So now that music started off as score and turned into source. This can happen, and it happens like kind of more than you would think, and it's kind of cool. I always enjoy it when I see it in a show. I probably pay more attention to it than most people do. You know, you probably see it a lot and don't realize that it's happening, but maybe after this you will. So we call that scores. It's kind of a fun trick. It can kind of work as like the glue between scenes sometimes, you know, to kind of, we would call it dovetailing, right? So you would start off music in one scene and continue it into the next scene, and it kind of can glue the two together really well. It's a nice effect. Ultimately, it's a decision that really the director makes whether they want that to happen. But you could, you know, sometimes depending on your relationship with the director, you might try it in a scene and see what they think of it. You never know. Okay, I want to play an example of this. This is one of my favorite all-time examples of this, but it's a bit long and we kind of have to see the whole scene to really get it. It's like 5 minutes, so it's not like super long, but long enough to where I'm going to cut to a new video. So let's bounce to a new video and then I'll kind of walk you through what we're going to see and hear in this scene, and then we'll watch it.